Welcome to the rules for Enchanted Convoy. To play the game, you will need that one, a board with 5 by 5, and you'll need a mana line down the side. Each player also starts with 25 cards. These can be dealt out randomly or chosen in advance, but they must be shuffled before you start. Each player also needs coloured counters and silence markers. When you play, you set up the board so that each player is placing a side. If you've got 2 players, you face the board like so.
If you have 4 players, you'll want to turn the board so that every player is facing a side.
Okay.
At the beginning of the game, each player draws 3 cards. You use some random means to decide who's going to go first. We do it like this. Your turn to go first.
Yeah.
Player 1 draws a card and their turn begins. The aim of the game is of course to make a row of 5 minions across the board like so. The first person who does that wins. Normally you'd put a coloured counter on each minion that's yours so you can tell them apart. The other important thing is of course you make them face you, so you'll all be facing a different side of the board. So someone sitting over this side will be have their pieces facing that way and with their own colour on. But let's just assume that Bertie and all of the rest are blue. Then blue has won the game. I'm going to introduce mana first. So over down this side of the board we have a line called the mana line. The numbers are here and I've placed 1 marker over the 3 because at the beginning of the game mana starts at 3. But every turn you can play some cards from your hand based on how much mana you have. So Airy here costs 3 mana, so if you had 3 mana at the start of your turn you could play Airy. Or Bertie would cost 4, Bull costs 4, Grandalf costs 7, and Cranky costs 4. However much mana you have in your hand at the beginning defines what you can play. But say at the beginning of your turn, you don't have any cards you can play, no cards that cost 3 mana or less. Well, that means you can't play a card on your turn, and at the end of your turn the mana moves up and everybody now has 4 mana at the beginning of their turn. Minions also all have a strength, so Bertie has 4, Airy 2, Bull 4, Grandalf 9 and Cranky 3. So when a minion fights against another minion, let's pretend that Bertie belongs to green for a moment. Bertie has 4 strength, Airy has 2 strength, Bertie makes an attack, Airy is killed and taken off the board. Every minion can move once per turn and an attack counts as a move. Notice Bertie has these 3 arrows, that's what defined his movement. Bull has these 2 arrows here, so he can actually move as far as he likes in this direction instead of just 1 space. Like so, all the way to here, as far as the first minion in that direction. So imagine Ardal is here, Bull can come and take him. But if Ardal was here, Bull could not. He would be stopped by Ardal. He could of course take Ardal, but he couldn't go further, just like a bishop or something in chess. Many minions have special symbols, such as support, like Airy has +1 strength to every friendly minion on touch, which is shown by the symbols, but it's also shown by the text. And if you can't understand the symbols, read the text. If the text doesn't make any sense, you should be able to read the crib cards which come with the game, and they will help explain any difficulties. But I'll take you through Airy. Airy here gives +1 strength to any friendlies on touch. So a friendly, he's an enemy because he's blue, so he doesn't get any extra strength. In fact, no one around him gets extra strength. Bertie has 4 strength ready to attack Bull, so if Bertie attacked Bull right now, they would both die. But if I move Airy down here first, that gives 1 extra strength to Bertie, so because he's on this touch line here. 5 strength versus 4 strength. 5 strength beats 4 strength. Bertie kills Bull. But imagine it wasn't Bull who was here. Imagine it was Felipe instead, and he was still an enemy piece. like so. Now Felipe gives +2 strength to friendlies on touch, just like Airy. But since these guys aren't friendly, they don't make any gains. Airy is on the other hand giving extra strength to Bertie. So Bertie has 5 strength, and on the same turn, if Bertie and Airy attack the same card, they might be able to combine their strength to defeat him. I'll give you an example. Bertie has 4 strength, now 5 because of Airy. Bertie attacks Felipe. Felipe survives, but Bertie dies. Felipe had 5 strength, Bertie had 5 strength, so Felipe now has 1 strength. 6 minus 5 is 1. Airy still has 2 strength, so when 2 strength attacks 1 strength, 2 wins, and Felipe is killed. Other useful abilities for card to have would be an ability like Pounce. So imagine we have 6 mana, I'm playing blue, and it's my turn. Well, I have this card called Deborah, who has Pounce. Now normally when you play a card you have to play it into an empty space and then use their arrows to make the attack the following turn. But because Deborah has Pounce, she has 4 strength versus 2 strength. She can play directly and attack like so. That 4 strength takes out Airy, and the place is now yours. Other fancy abilities, we have Globe here. Grandalf has Globe, so if he steps forward he can actually step off the side of the board and onto the other side of the board like so. Any of those 3 directions. So from here he could either go to here, here, or here. There are other minions that actually give these abilities to other cards. So Cranky here, Galileo here. Galileo gives all friendly minions have Globe. So by having Galileo on the board, Cranky can step off the board and come back on the other side, again in the same direction as his arrows show. But as soon as Galileo is killed, oh no! Cranky no longer has that ability and cannot move back. Gandalf still has that, so he can step off sideways like that. Andre can't attack. It's quite simply that what it means. So if we had an enemy piece here, even though for the same cost, Andre is significantly more expensive and harder to attack, he could not attack Galileo. It's pretty clear. Astrid has the ability to silence a card. So, Battle Cry, silence a minion. Battle Cry means when you play it from your hand. So if Astrid was played here, Battle Cry would silence the minions on touch. So Galileo would be silenced. We place a silence marker over his text. And now Galileo doesn't give anyone Globe anymore. Or, if we wanted and we were being friendly, we could actually silence Andre instead. So when we play Astrid out of our hand and the silence counter goes over, Andre's can't attack. And now Andre can attack. And he can take out Galileo very happily. Silence remains after the end of a turn. So once you've silenced a card, it normally remains silent. There might be a card that comes around later that unsilences, but for now there is no means to unsilence a card. Other fun cards. You have a chap called Elvis. Battle Cry, again, when you play it from your hand, kill all minions along line. So both these minions on this line will be killed here. Line is the whole line in the direction as the arrows are shown, and because it's blue that means everyone. If there was a red one with line, such as Archie, he wouldn't kill friendlies, only enemies. So Clint would be safe, but if we had someone like Holder here, and then turn begin, kill enemies in line, so that's enemies in this direction. Cranky's a friendly, he survives. Holder's an enemy, Holder dies at the beginning of your turn, the very beginning of the turn, before you do anything else. A couple of other fun abilities. Gladly is willing. Now you get a bit of extra strength for having Gladly, because 7 cost normally doesn't get you quite that much strength, but he's willing. That means, even though he is blue, if the enemy made a line like so, oops, not that one, we need a green counter. The enemies made a line like so. even though Gladly is our minion, we have actually given the victory to green. There are also cards that give other minions abilities. So instead, imagine this wasn't Gladly here, but was in fact Archie. By playing the illustrator here, minions on touch are willing. Archie is now willing because he is touching, and green wins the game. Spells. Some cards don't look like minions, they actually are called spells. They have written on paper, and on these you just do what the text says when you play them. So POW costs 5 mana. When I play POW from my hand, kill any minion. So maybe I choose to POW Eric, get rid of Eric, and the spell goes to the discard pile just like everything else. Desert Heat's a bit of a pain. You play this spell, that brings the mana all the way back to 3. So that could bother someone who's planning on playing some expensive minions next turn, but of course it stops you from being able to as well. Rushing Wind is the counter to that, moves the mana marker up 2 spaces. So just by playing the card and then discarding it. Teleport. Some cards have teleport as an ability. That's this symbol here. What that means is they can move around the board freely to any empty space. They can't attack with their move, but they can just jump around. So Robin the Brave. Imagine Robin the Brave was green and blue has just played Archie here, ready to attack Robin the Brave. Well, Robin the Brave is okay because even though he doesn't have any movement arrows, he can just hop over to here and be quite safe from attack, ready for another round. He's also very good at jumping in to complete a line. Other cards give other minions teleport, like this card here, Hoppykin. All friendly minions have teleport. And that's how the game works. Have fun! It's fine.
Atrocious.
It was atrocious.